Good evening, everybody. This is the Grumpy Guy Show, episode number 34. Change it so you win. Tonight we talk about a topic that we forgot to record last week, a new term for old practice, and some changes just so you get your way. Stay tuned. Good evening. Welcome to the Grumpy Guy Show. I'm Derek McAllister.
And I'm Ryan McAllister.
So I hope you enjoyed last week's episode. It was a lot of fun for us. I know that at the end of the episode, my face was hurting from laughing and smiling so much. It was actually...
He's not used to smiling so much. Usually he's grumpy.
Yeah, it was actually what I was...
That's the title of the show.
It's what I was really hoping the show would be like, is, just sitting down with some friends and, and Ryan and maybe some of his friends and just having a conversation about one or two topics. I mean, when it's just the two of us, we tend to go through them a bit faster. So
I tried to get my friends, but none of them are up for it. In the mood.
Yeah. And apparently they're not up for it when it comes to watching or listening either. We had a whopping one listener last week. Woohoo!
Woo!
But at any rate, so hopefully people will pass it around and things will pick back up.
I forgot to share the link.
Oh, there you go. So you're going to have to share that. Make sure you share it.
I plan to.
Yeah. All right, so why don't we get into it? So we've got a few topics on here. One of them is very, very relevant to today. So as everybody...
The day we're recording, not the day we're releasing.
Yes, the day of recording, which is January 17th.
Difference.
Yes, it's 2 to 3 days because of the editing. But today is January 17th, and maybe we should start mentioning that in our intros. That way people can reference it. So we just put the recording date in when we're talking. When we do the intro. But at any rate, so today is January 17th, 2022. It is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And, there's been a lot of events and whatnot going on, which, I have absolutely no issue with that. I have no issue with them marching because, and by them, I
peaceful.
mean, yeah, by them, I mean people in general. I'm not saying that I have an issue with, any particular race or gender or anything like that marching. It's just today has been very good. It's been very peaceful all around. By extremists on both sides, they've allowed peace to take over, which is a great thing.
Surprising.
It is very surprising, and it's a great thing. It means that, people have actually grown up or something like that.
Knowing how extremists ruin everything.
Yeah, and that tends to be a big problem, is they do tend to ruin everything. But, so, on the news, I was listening and sort of watching when they were talking on the world news, or, the national news. But they were talking about Martin Luther King Jr., of course. And then they mentioned that one of his granddaughters was actually speaking and called out a couple of Democrats. That a couple of Democratic senators that are kind of balking at changes in Congress.
Is it the Democratic senators that I'm thinking of?
Yeah, you probably know their names. I can't remember their names.
Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema.
Yes, those two. So in her speech...
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, in her speech, she called them out, asking them to vote with Democrats to change the rules so that the Democrats could pass some voting rights bill. I don't know what the voting rights bill is. because I haven't heard anything about it. I haven't seen anything in my news feed, so I'm not up to date on it or anything. So I don't know what it is. But here's my problem. They know that they're not going to be able to pass this because they don't have support from enough people beyond just the Democrats. So what the Democrats are proposing, and these two senators are opposed to, these two Democratic senators are opposed to, is changing the rules so that they can pass this without any support whatsoever from Republicans. And I have a huge issue with that because
That's stupid.
well, it is really kind of stupid because if you just go through and you change the rules to get your way, what good does that do? There's a reason that Republicans aren't voting in favor of this. And I'm going to say it's not because it was presented by the Democrats. There has to be some reason that they don't like it. So why should we change rules?
I don't know. It seems these days all Republicans are doing is stuff that spites Democrats, and vice versa.
Yeah, to a point that is happening, but at the same
People
time,
like Manchin and Sinema and Mitt Romney are rare exceptions.
yeah, and I have to admit that that is happening. But at the same time, there's always been some form of that separation based on party lines. It's why so many times you have a Republican governor, a Republican president with a Republican-led Congress in both houses. They can pass things quickly. And it's why when that happens and things don't get passed quickly, you start hearing about, well, there's problems within the party. I mean, I don't know. But at any rate, the whole concept of just changing the rules so that you get what you want, that just bugs me. And that kind of leads me back to this whole everybody wins thing.
Mm-hmm.
They can't take no for an answer. But, this back and forth goes on with politics. It's been going on. Politics is all about compromising. You've got.
And when was the last time we had a compromise? Probably before I was born.
Actually, the compromises happen a lot more often than you think, because there's 100 senators. Imagine, and those 100 senators represent.
And at this moment, literally half of them come from each party.
Yeah. So
At the tied Senate.
So what happens is these 100 senators come in and they have constituents that have 50 different needs. So what they have to do is they have to compromise with each other, find out what's going to end up working best for each group as a, and make it so that it works together as a whole. That's what they have to try to do. And they've been doing that for a very long time. But the problem is, if you change the rules and you make it so that the Democrats can pass stuff without a majority, you've just eliminated the whole concept of a democracy. So, maybe this voting rights bill is something that's needed. But there's got to be some reason besides just the fact that it's a Democratic-led thing that, that they're saying no.
I think the Democrats are trying to change the rules just so they don't have to compromise and so they don't have to, heavily alter it.
Yeah, and
Like,
what's the
make it less powerful, I guess. They nerf it.
yeah, I mean the whole problem is, you know, what'll end up happening is the Republicans will turn this around and use it. And then the Democrats are going to say, "Oh, no, we can't have that." Well, wait a minute. It was good for you, but it's not good for us. You know, so it'll just end up going back and forth like that, and we've just eliminated everything. If they truly want this to pass, then they need to find out why those two senators are opposed to it. Because even without those, even if they get this to pass, they're still not going to get it because they've got two senators against it that are Democrats. So they need to fix this stuff the proper way, not by just changing the rules. And that's why I have a huge issue. You know, we can't just go changing the rules because it makes it harder for somebody to get what they want.
And another thing I'd like to add is I'm glad that there are people like Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema and Mitt Romney that go against their party. Because the two political parties are way too uniform nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, they're extremes, and I find it hilarious. You see them during the primaries for the presidential the presidential election. In the primaries, they're attacking each other, and he's such a son of a bitch, and he's such a son. And then all of a sudden, as soon as somebody wins the primary, oh, he's so great, he's wonderful.
Exactly.
Come
That's
on.
literally what our vice president did after
Yeah,
the president won his primary.
yeah, and that's what
Before and after.
that's what happened
She
before.
did a complete 180.
That's what happened with Trump. That happened with Bush. It happened. I
It
mean,
happened after Reagan beat Bush in the primaries.
yeah, and it happened. It even happened
This,
with Clinton and Obama. You know,
mm-hmm.
she attacked the living hell out of him, and then as soon as he won, oh, he's the greatest thing ever. Well, either you were right before or you're right now. Which is it? It can't be both. He can't be a total
The
jerk.
situation with the whole thing with our current administration, the most similar of the things we brought up to it is 1980, because after losing the primary, they become vice president.
Yeah.
Bush became Reagan's, Harris became Biden's.
Yep. But
And even another interesting coincidence, both presidents would end up beating an incumbent and become the oldest president. Which I think is an even more interesting coincidence.
oh my. But at any rate, so I hope these two senators stick to their guns with it, and don't change the rules. Make the rest of the Democrats do what they should be doing and what they should have done already, and work with the Republicans to get it passed. If it's that important and it's going to make that much of a difference, let's get it passed. But at any rate, so I guess I'm going to end up having to look that up and find out exactly what it is so I know more about it. But all right.
Democrats won't work with Republicans because Republicans like Trump and Trump bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
He wasn't the worst president.
He wasn't any different than any other president.
Good God, was he an idiot?
Yeah, he was an idiot, but the president
still is stupid.
The current president is an idiot as well.
He's not an idiot. He just has dementia.
Yeah. the whole thing is all of them, every president back, at least through my entire lifetime, has been about becoming president just to ensure that their name goes in history. They don't care about anything else. They just want to make sure that their name is written in history so that they're not forgotten. But the problem is, think about how many presidents have been forgotten.
A whole lot of them.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know.
Remember Gerald Ford? No, you don't.
Yeah. There you go. Smart ass.
Remember Jimmy Carter? Not until he does an interview, you don't.
Yeah. Oh my. Alrighty. So, what do you say we go to the next one? So this is one that, just so everybody knows, Ryan didn't put anything in. He's kind of finding out what these are as we go along. So, so the next one, when we were doing a little pre-show, he said, "Oh, that sounds interesting." So it's probably not nearly as interesting as you think it is or thought it would be. Basically, we were watching one of the morning shows, whatever one it is that your mother watches. But
Today?
Yeah, the Today Show.
I'm 90% sure that's the only one she watches.
Yeah.
She
So
doesn't really care about Good Morning America or whatever else is on.
yeah, I think I don't think she likes the people on Good Morning America. I don't know. But at any rate, so they were talking to people, and they started talking to this one guy. And they went through their little piece about him, explaining him and what he does and everything, and basically he sings far from gangster rap. I mean, it's clean rap, but he sings about actions that are needed and things going on. He's also a teacher, and so they were talking to him, and they said, "So how does it feel to be a social justice activist or artist?" Not activist, social justice artist. Wait a minute.
It's debatable whether rapping is actually singing, by the way. It's more like talking with a beat behind you.
That's your opinion.
It
But,
is my opinion.
Yeah.
It's the correct opinion. Everyone else has the right to be completely wrong.
Oh my. Anyhow. So
Piss off so many people if we actually got that many viewers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna piss off the one person that watches.
You might, and I'm sure I'll hear about it. But so I'm just like, so we can't just call him a singer. We have to now give him a new title. We have to make something up and call him a social justice artist. So what did they call them back? So you see, here's my biggest problem with it. They're making things up. And this kind of stuff, if you listen to music from the 60s, the same type of stuff that he's talking about was done back in the 60s. And you know what they called them then? Hippies. So we've already got a term that was made up long ago that we've been using. So why do we need to make up a new one?
Because because the term hippie is offensive.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm just like, do we really have to continually make up things just to call people stuff? We can't just say, he's an artist that talks about social issues. That's really what he is. I mean, most music throughout, from the 30s on, most music has been about some kind of, not necessarily social justice, but it's been about what's happening in that time. I mean, I don't know. I find it so annoying that they had to do that. But anyhow, quick one.
Quickie.
Yeah.
So what else we got?
So how about this? We're actually recording tonight. So how about we talk about
We are.
Yeah, how about we talk about the topic that we talked about last week, but not while we were recording.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. So everybody
Something about COVID tests.
Yeah. Everybody is aware
Sports.
that COVID is still going, and
Probably never gonna go away.
the numbers are rising. And if we haven't said it before, folks, that phrase, when it comes to talking about any kind of disease, just bugs the daylights out of me, because the numbers
I
are
wish you
never
were
going to
recording
go
up
down.
here and I was recording down there so Kyle could hear you say that. He'd be laughing his ass off.
Yeah, the numbers are never going to go down. Plain and simple. The number of people who get COVID, it's never going to go down. The number of people who died from COVID, it's never going to go down. That's all there is to it. It's not like you can suddenly say, oh, by the way, yeah, that COVID, yeah, no, I didn't have it. No. Come on. But anyhow, so we know that more and more people are getting it. And we know that
The numbers are rising.
Yeah. And we know that, there's things. I mean, of course there's the controversy when it comes to vaccines and boosters and all that other stuff. But the opposite side of things are tests. So my personal opinion is they should not be playing sports. Plain and simple. While you're playing sports, you cannot wear a mask, because you can't cover your face, breathe properly in order to play any kind of sport or participate. I mean, and when I say that, I'm cutting things out. I don't consider fishing to be a sport. Fishing is an activity. So what I'm talking about with sport,
just by saying that, you're reminding me of a George Carlin bit.
No, jeez.
Because according to him, there are only 3 real sports: football, baseball, and basketball. He didn't even think hockey was a sport.
I can't even remember what he called it.
3 activities in 1.
But at any rate, so anything that takes any kind of athletic ability, you can't really do while you're wearing a mask. Which means these players who are in close proximity to each other are breathing all over each other. But not only breathing all over each other, they're exerting themselves, which makes them breathe harder, heavier, faster. So why are we allowing this? But wait, there's more.
There's always more.
So, they've decided, okay, we're going to allow this. Yeah, all right, whatever. It's not my problem. I don't participate in sports. So what do they do when it comes to these athletes? Well, they're constantly tested, and any fans that want to go into these sports arenas, most sports arenas are requiring tests.
Yes,
But,
they should.
oh, well, the problem is requiring these tests has an issue when it comes to the fact that we also have so many people that are getting sick, and you need to know if it's COVID so that you can protect the rest of your family. But we're having a problem getting tests. So we're requiring these people, 50,000 at a pop, to get tested so they can
They're
go and watch
requiring
these people.
fans to get tested. I understand if they're making the athletes and the coaches and the officials to constantly get tested, and the
Right.
broadcasters
Right.
as well. Whoever's like going there and working.
Yeah, the
But if you're
people
not
directly involved.
working, you should not need a test to go watch a game.
Well, the reason they want to test though is because they want to make sure that it doesn't become a super spreader event. Which, you don't want it to be a super spreader event, then don't let people join. Don't let people
Or
go.
at least limit the capacity.
Oh, the capacity is limited, but
Oh,
it's
it is.
for the most part, I believe they do limit capacity.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't bring food and beverage into the sports arena,
Yeah.
which means you're
NASCAR fans had to deal with that. Couldn't bring their own coolers.
yeah, but
Some poor sucker got his umbrella taken away when it was raining.
yeah. Well, that's
Another
something
guy
new for
got his
NASCAR though.
sunscreen taken away.
That would be something new for NASCAR. It's been this
Oh
way
yeah.
for other sports for a very, very long time. So
Mm-hmm.
you can't bring any of this stuff. But people go in there hungry and thirsty. And you look at like a football game, they're going to be there for 3 hours,
Mm-hmm.
which means they're going to want something to drink. So they say, well, you got to keep your mask on while you're in the stands. Okay, but how do I drink something that I've paid for? I can't drink it through the mask, which means I got to take the mask off to drink it. So
Mm-hmm.
what's happening? Well, they're taking the masks off to drink something, and then they're just leaving it off, and nobody's enforcing it.
Mm-hmm.
So now, even though you pretended that you're not, that you're concerned that it's going to be
You
a super
mentioned
spreader, and
drinks, and I immediately think just because these fans aren't allowed to bring their own stuff, they're probably pricing the drink prices are going through the roof, and B, they're running out quick.
now they're not running out. They don't run out.
Really,
Oh, really? Yeah,
they must be
these.
really prepared then, because during the summertime at NASCAR races, they ran out of drinks super quick.
Yeah, now these places are.
The All-Star race last June hadn't even started and they were out.
Yeah, most of the that was probably just the first time back.
No, that wasn't the first time back. That was last year, not the year before.
Yeah, but
They had been back.
for the most part, I mean, and again, NASCAR, like I said, it's a different thing for them when it comes to not bringing your own stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
That's fairly new. These other sports, they've been doing it for years, so they generally know how much they're going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not an issue. But
Yeah,
my issue is that
but prices are still through the roof.
yeah, I mean they've always been through the roof. You go there, you get a 12-ounce beer, and it costs you $6. I mean, you know, even
Mm-hmm.
the expensive beer that I get, I can go to I can go to the store and get a 6-pack for $10. So,
Hmm.
prices have always been through the roof, but there's just there's no enforcement of masks at all in these events, and it just is ridiculous, to be honest with you. Like I said, we should not be having them.
Kyle constantly complains that That his school doesn't enforce mask-related policies.
Yeah, and in Sunday's paper, they actually had information about all the schools in the area,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't realize just how large in population the school is. It's actually it's actually like the fifth or sixth largest in the area, which is pretty impressive
Really?
considering it's a rural district.
That is impressive.
But they also have one of the highest percentages of people with COVID.
Not surprising at all.
No, but
I expected that.
but to be honest with you, it's not like it's really really out there. I mean, it's I don't know. None of the schools are really enforcing it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's causing problems.
Yeah.
But at any rate, so I think what they should do is they should either end this testing for people going to sporting events, or close it off to fans
Mm-hmm.
until we get to the point where we've got enough tests for everybody who needs one at home.
Exactly.
It's I think it's crazy. But at any rate, folks, you probably heard the music starting up in the background. So we have a topic that will carry over, but that's a quick hit topic, and we'll get to it some point. So
Eventually.
yep. All right.
Good night.
We'll see ya.